I wanted to ask you about the signing of Contreras. I don't know how familiar you are with him, but I'm telling you, the folks that maybe didn't like him as a Cub love that he's a Cardinal now. And then the things that he said at his presser when they unveiled the newest Cardinal, I think he just blew Cardinal fans away. That made them even more excited.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's exciting. I mean, I think when you're talking about, with obviously the hole that was left behind when Yadi retired, and how you're going to fill it and who you're going to fill it with, and the production and leadership and sort of whether you make a trade and have to give up prospects or, you spend the money and sign someone like him. So it's exciting to get, a catcher that could potentially hit 25 home runs. And I like that he plays with fire. I like that he plays with, he plays with an edge. I think that, I haven't been around him a ton outside of playing against him, but I think it's going to be a good fit. I think he wanted to be in St. Louis, and I think that he's got I think he likes the idea of sort of stepping into Yadi's sort of shadow or footsteps and continuing on the legacy of Cardinals having sort of a cornerstone behind home plate. So I'm excited to see sort of up close what he brings to the table, but certainly from afar it looks like a great fit. And I think, like I said, I like his enthusiasm and his excitement and passion and fire he brings to the stadium every day.
I think it's going to be great. So I think Cardinal fans didn't like Contreras as a Cub. I just remember like Tony La Russa as a manager. Lance Berkman said, boy, when I played against him, I literally wanted to punch him in the face. Then I played for him. I love him. Was there ever someone in your professional career that when you weren't on the same side, you didn't care for it, but once you got to know him, you're like, I like that guy?
Well, I mean, I think that sort of everybody's supposed to not like the Cubs, right? I mean, that's what we do as Cardinals. You don't like the Cubs, and there's going to be things that other guys do that irk you on the other side. That once you play with them, it doesn't bother you. You kind of like it. That it bothers the other team. So, off the top of my head, I don't really. I know that John Lackey playing against him, he was very demonstrative and sort of cocky out there. But playing with him, I absolutely loved him and thought he was great and enjoyed being his teammate. So he's one that comes to mind of somebody that you didn't necessarily like playing against, but once he was on your team, he was a really good teammate and added a lot to the group. So he's probably the only one that's coming to my mind right now. But I think that happens a lot. I mean, it's one thing, how you act on the field and during the game, but it's all the days and time you spend in between. I think that people really, once you're a teammate, you get to understand who they are and maybe why they do that.
Matt, what do you think? You came in it was a big acquisition. It was a headline addition to the team. What's going to be the first thing that really strikes Wilson Contreras about joining the Cardinals organization and coming into that clubhouse compared to different ones he's been in the past?
Well, I haven't been in the Cubs clubhouse, so I don't know exactly what their situation was or is. But I will say that when you come into the Cardinals clubhouse, there is a culture and an expectation to do the right thing, to work hard, to prepare. Particularly when you're talking about spring training, when he puts on the Cardinals uniform for the first time, there is an expectation that winning the World Series is the goal, and the expectation of work ethic and what it takes. And that the whole group is all pointing in one direction. I think that there is something different about that, and I think that tone has been set for a long time. And I think that's something that I noticed when I got traded over, and just kind of the culture and expectation and the way guys go about their business was noticeable. And so I think that's something that he'll notice, immediately in spring training. And even more so probably once the season starts and he's around. He gets to experience opening day. Obviously, opening day with the Cardinals, Busch Stadium is unique and incredible, and so there'll be lots of sort of firsts that he notices. I think that's very unique to the Cardinals. That is what makes it so special.
We're talking with Matt Holliday. Matt, obviously now as the Cardinals bench coach. Earlier today in the show, we're talking a lot about the Cardinals outfield and all the different options. And if you throw out all the names, whether it's O'Neill and Nootbaar and Carlson, you got Yepez, you got Burleson, potentially Jordan Walker coming up. I think the Cardinals have a lot of really good options at outfield, and then maybe one of those guys also, your platooning at DH. I just don't know who are going to be the three that end up starting. But it seems like that's not the worst problem to have because they have a lot of talent. Those guys just kind of have to figure out who are going to be the starters and kind of fill in those roles.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point. I think that there's a lot of guys that are good enough to play and start, and that competition is a good thing, and that you feel like you have 5 or 6 guys competing for 3 spots, and then potential whatever you end up doing with the DH role, but. It's good. I mean, I think it pushes young guys. It pushes them, right now in the off season. It motivates them that, that there's competition for those positions and that nobody's guaranteed anything. And so I think that's healthy. I think that's something that going into spring training, you're going to have to perform. You're going to have to roll into spring training in shape and ready and sharp. And then once the game starts, performance is going to matter. And the way you go about your business and how hard you're working and what the staff notices about your dedication to getting better. I think all those things are important, and I think that's good. And I think that's definitely the current situation in the outfield is like you talked about. Like there's a lot of guys there that have the talent to be everyday starters that potentially. That depending on performance, it'll see how it shakes out.
So Contreras coming to the Cardinals after a whole career with the Cubs. I want to go back to that. When you are playing with a new team for the first time, like your career, Colorado, Oakland, to the Cardinals, or you get re-upped and suddenly you have a huge contract, even though you've been around the game a while, did you feel pressure? Does a player feel pressure coming to a new team with a big contract?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think that's you want to prove to the fan base, you want to prove to your teammates, you want to prove to the front office that gave you that commitment to the ownership that you're worth it. And I think that's human nature, and I think that's something that as a competitive athlete and someone that takes pride in what they do, and when you get a contract like that you want the buy-in right away. Like you want the fans to go, oh, yeah, this guy's definitely worth it, or your teammates to see, that you're how good you are, and they've obviously played against him a long time, so they know he's good. But there is sort of this, human nature to make sure that everybody thinks you're sort of worth it, and I think that's that's a society thing. We all want to be, I think appreciated and felt appreciated, and so I think that's something that players deal with. But once you get over sort of that initial look, I can only do what I can do. I can only be me and go out and play the game the way I've always played it and do the things that I do, and you can't change my mentality. I can't try too hard. I can't hit 10 homers in 2 games. I just need to go out and play and do what I've done that got me the contract that I got, and keep doing it, and just stack year after year together, and hopefully by the end of the contract everybody looks at it and goes, that was a really good deal for both sides. And I think that's all of our goals as players that end up getting a chance to sign a long-term deal, is that at the end of the day nobody regrets it, and at the end of the day you shake hands and there's appreciation on both sides.
I know you won't give me credit for this, but I can relate.
Nor should he.
As someone who was fired by 590 9 times and brought back for the 10th time, I feel that pressure every day on the air.
10th time's the charm. 10th time's the charm, Cap. We believe in you.
So
wait, so you're back? What?
Well,
you're back on?
Yeah, no, I've been fired by 590. See, you were never
They
part
don't
of the
pay
show.
attention.
Yeah,
to
he
us.
doesn't know. He doesn't know. I was fired by 590 like 6 times and brought back.
He's a clubhouse cancer.
Every cat has 9
What
lives.
station are you on right now?
590 the fan. 590 the fan.
Oh, okay. So you're just on a different show.
Yeah.
There's
but-
different ownership groups over the years. Radio's usually, you have a different owner every 2 years. Not anymore, though. Not anymore. Dave Zorbis will be here for a long time.
and plus,
This
I'm
is the same channel you've always been on.
yeah,
Pretty much.
Pretty much. But the ownership groups, and I've been fired and then brought back and whatever. But I'm like,
Oh yeah, I know all about that.
yeah, I'm like the.
He always tries to sue.
What? I'm litigious. I'm like the 41-year-old free agent that isn't going to get a sniff, and I found a landing spot, so it's good. No, because here's why I wanted to bring you on. Always
Wait,
great
you're
to
way
talk.
older than 41, right?
Yeah, but I'm like that in terms of free agent. I just turned.
Have we
60.
had him on since, Jim
41.
turned 60, Matt? The other day?
Gosh,
60.
I did not know that.
Like 2 weeks ago.
I'm still youthful though.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can't give me a hard time this year because it'll be elder abuse. So here's really what it kind of bothers me when you say good point to Charlie and everything. We have good questions
Well,
so far.
ask a good question.
All right, but this is a bad one, so I'm good. But so he'll kill me. But this really Matt Holliday. Christmas is coming up. Do you go to the mall and shop? Do you go on Amazon when you're browsing gifts and stuff? Do you do it yourself, or do you leave everything to your wife? I want to know if you can be seen at a mall somewhere in this country with a bag full of presents getting ready for Christmas.
There's not really a mall in the near Oklahoma, like Stillwater. We don't really have. There's a couple of less than malls in Oklahoma City, and maybe one that's decent in Tulsa. But I don't go to malls often, so you probably won't catch me doing that. My wife does the majority of the shopping, and then the rest of the shopping that I do it online. So I'm not a big mall goer. I would be probably if there was. If I was in St. Louis full time and could get to a mall, I probably would go. But here, there's not a lot of great mall options. So I'm not seen carrying large bags out of malls, very often.
All right. Well,
ever.
you're coming back to St. Louis, so you and I will lunch at the food court one of these days, and I'll show you around. Okay.
Charlie Steakery. Pull up.
Matt, we appreciate the time. Sorry for ending on a bad question. Charlie had the good questions, but thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it wouldn't feel like a good interview unless you asked me a bad question.
And sorry also, somebody in the text line said, we've asked you if you like the UFC. I think 6 straight shows, but we're bad. So, and I'm going to blame Kat for that as well. Or did I do that? Either way, we're both bad.
I think same answer.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm not crazy. I'm not obsessed with it, but I like it.
Thank you, Matt.
Okay, guys.
All right, we'll
Thank
see
you, sir.
He's the best.
Matt Holliday joining us, brought to you by the Post Sports Bar and Grill, the official cheesesteak of Hot Take Central. Stay posted, my friends. They bring you Matt Holliday Mondays, Seth's Trivia Tuesdays as well.
Kat, I got a question for you with Matt coming back to town. You're going to have to do a little bit of getting in the gym this spring yourself, getting yourself ready for those random bear attacks that he comes over the shoulder with.
He
for
does.
You. I want you to take care of yourself, man.
Like Skip used to give me a hard time, but never any physical stuff. Matt will throw me around.
Yeah, you could do some neck rolls, do some shoulder rolls, get some dumbbells up there, take care of yourself.
I'm going to get a shank piece. I'll just cut the hammy.
Maybe
I'll just cut the hammy.
Maybe get some bear repellent. Maybe, I don't know. Do what you can.
No, I can't wait for that because he's really fun to have around. We asked him some bad questions here, UFC again. I that was probably Cam, and we probably didn't notice it. But since we were talking UFC and boxing, but I had this visual of there's Matt Holliday with a scarf and a parka, 2 armful of presents.
No chance.
Hey, kids, let's go to Bed Bath & Beyond and get something for Mom.
Let's go stand in line for some 3-wick candles.